Hey everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear, and we're going to look at some bipods today. These are from AIM Sports, and these will really mount to anything that has a rail system on it. So if your gun has a rail that is usually on the bottom, that's where you'd want to put a bipod, these will fit on there. There is a certain bipod that I have up here, this one right here, which is meant to fit an AK or SKS version gun, so it mounts around the barrel. So you have to have a thinner outer barrel. So really this is geared, this one is in particular is geared more towards airsoft or a real firearm. Definitely won't fit on a paintball barrel or paintball style gun. So I've got an airsoft gun out here which has a thinner outer barrel to it, but it isn't really quite right. So you'll see that when we try to put that on here. It doesn't quite wrap around all the way, but for what I have up here, it's close enough just for demonstration purposes. And then these two here will mount up to the rail system. And this adapter I have here, we'll talk about in a little bit as well. So let's just kind of see this, the bipods themselves. This one right here, which again I said is for an AK version or an SKS version. It has a little retainer at the bottom. When you squeeze the legs together, the retainer will come off or rotate out of the way, and that will let the legs open up. And as you can see, it kind of works like a pair of pliers. It's going to just go right in there and mount to the barrel like this. So on this particular gun that I have here, with the barrel being just a bit too thick, that's a little narrower piece down there. You can see how that, whoops, is going to set up on there, just like that. Now the legs are adjustable on the bottom, so if we lift them up, there's a little toggle, and then we can slide them down, and there's some stops in various positions, so we can line them up and extend the legs down and make it any really height that we wanted to within the limits of the bipod itself. Bring it down, and then undo it. So it's a nice quick attach setup right there. It doesn't bend or fold up. So on this particular setup, if you're using it on the weapon that it's meant for, an AK style or whatever, it does not fold up against the bottom of the barrel. It would kind of just stick off the bottom right there and just dangle down. But typically you're using these for a larger weapon that you're not trying to run around with or anything, and so it's going to be planted for a while, so that's not that big of a deal. Let's move that over here. Now for a standard setup, we've got these two right here. So these are foldable. They have just the rail mount that's on the bottom. Again, they have adjustable legs as well. Just fold the toggle down and then you can slide it up and down. These I found when I first tried to undo it, I couldn't figure out how to get the bipod to open up and articulate. So what you have to do is squeeze it, but you have to be careful, not careful, you just have to be aware of the way you squeeze it. If you squeeze one hard or one side harder than the other, so if we put more pressure on this one than on this one, they don't bend or they don't flex the same amount. One is further than the other, so they're kind of offset. It won't let the bipod rotate. So you have to make sure that they are equally pushed down so that they stay the same distance apart from each other, and then it will rotate up. Same thing when you're going to put it back. So if you're going to fold it back down, if you push one side more than the other, you see that this side is lower than this side. Again, this won't move, but if we straighten them out, it'll drop right down. So something to think about when you're folding it up and down. We've got you've got two screws or two thumb wheels on here. You've got this one which sits in the middle and this one which is at the bottom. This is the one you're going to turn first. So you're going to tighten this down, and this is going to sit as close to the bottom wheel as possible. So this will push this screw against the rail, whatever you're tightening it down against. Once you've got this as far up as you can, then you use this one to snug the adjustment wheel against the body of the bipod, and this will keep it from rotating out and coming loose while you're playing. So let's go ahead and put that on. We're going to back this all the way up like that, and I'm going to want it to bend backwards like this. I like them to come back, so that's how I'm going to set this one up. before I tighten anything down, I'm going to see where my bend is here. Let's see how far I can bring it back. Yeah, it's pretty good for me right there. Now, is this going to be all right for that? Actually, I think I might want it a little bit further forward. I'm going to bring it forward just a bit. Now, we want to make sure that when we go to tighten this down, I want this screw to go in between the slots on my rail. That way, if it does come loose and it starts to move back and forth, it'll only travel as far as the slot and it won't just go crazy wherever it wants to. So I'm going to put it at 23. All right, so that's tight right there. Now I'm going to use the second thumb wheel and bring it all the way down and snug that up against the bottom as well. And there you go. There you have that on there. Has a little bit of rotation to it, which I like. That way, when you're trying to shoulder it and get your face in front of the scope, you can kind of maneuver the gun a little bit. And then we can fold these up and down. Just like I talked about before, remember kind of how you have to make sure that they are bent the same amount so that the scope, or the bipod, I'm sorry, can articulate back and forth. All right, so that's that setup. This one here is the same thing. It's just a more compact version, a smaller version. And then this mount here, this is a Harris bipod mount. So this one is a little different as far as how the scope actually, God, I keep calling them scopes, how the bipods mount to the gun. This has a little turret, a little knob at the top right here that the bipod will clip onto. So the bipod doesn't actually attach to the rail system itself. It attaches to a turret that is on an adapter, and the adapter attaches to the rail. So if you have that style, it's very, very different looking than a rail mount version. It has like a little arm that comes up, kind of looks like a horseshoe, and it will go on each sides of the turret and hold onto it. If you have that style bipod, then this is the mount you want. You have what's called a Harris style bipod. You need a Harris mount to go onto a rail. There are certain guns that have the Harris mount built into the bottom of them, and then you would just attach the bipod right to that. But if you don't have that, you need this style mount for that particular bipod. So a couple different options for you to look at here as far as bipods and bipod parts. And SKS or AK style bipod, standard style, which will fit pretty much anything with a rail system on it in both a full size and a compact size. And then an adapter for a Harris style bipod. Whatever you've got, this will get you covered. They're available through the website. Order yours now through ansgear.com.